Hi there, it's the 18th of December and this is the 5-year anniversary of one of our best ever All Stations train races. We held it in 2020, the end of the COVID year, and we also took a lot of video and produced a 1-hour video of that race. And what I'm going to do for the 5-year anniversary here is a review of that day's race, because it was pretty exciting. And I'm not just reviewing it because of the identity of the winner. That's a spoiler. If you know, you know. We had a big roll-up, one of our best ever attendances for an All Stations train race, and as well as the racers whose names you can see going across the screen there. I want to thank David McCafferty and also Scott Adam-Smith, who provided some additional video for the production. Now, we all started at Central, of course, and we all published our photos and our race logs on Facebook at the time. We will be migrating off Facebook onto TMAP, as I have flagged. So what you see on the video is, of course, all the Facebook posts of everyone starting. Now, it was Greg and Martin who started first, and then down the Eastern Suburbs platform I started, and Lorenzo, who was a rookie racing, also started, and we went to Bondi Junction first. Then Tom started, you can see him there boarding his train on platform 20. And after that it was Griffin and Sam who made their start, and also Kevin. Actually, it was the other way around. Kevin started before Griffin and Sam. They were the other rookies who were racing. Now, what we did with this video is tracked each of the races and used the photographs that they took of their stations and the video that they took along the way. So there, for example, is the starting photo for the two new guys, Sam and Griffin. And we can track the progress of each racer or each team of racers station by station, and with the time of day that they were at each station. So the video tracks the rate of progress. Now, what happened, of course, Kevin had a big failure early on where he had an Olympic Park train cancelled, and so he doubled back to Central and he started again. And the rest of us were fairly trouble-free for quite a while. Here you can see us arriving at Berowra. The sun was up by this stage. It was really nice. Our train connections were working. It was a little while before any of us had any hiccups on that, apart from Kevin. Martin and Greg, who had been out to Macarthur first and then to Leppington, made a mistake on their way back. They changed trains, and instead of getting off to Sefton, they changed onto a train that went via Merrylands. So they had to rejig their plan, and some of the detail of their rejig plan is there on the screen now.
I've been travelling with John for the morning so far from Central. We're about to come into Epping Station. John, how long have we got for between connections at Epping?
About 3 seconds, Tom. We've got to get down those escalators like nothing else. Yes, the famous Epping escalators down.
We didn't make it. Which means we're catching the following train, and we have a 0-minute changeover at North Ryde, so hopefully our train gets in first before the one heading back to Talbot.
Alright. We did manage to board another metro.
So you're clearly going to Strathfield again, and from here to Epping to Strathfield, and what are the plans from there?
And then we're going to Olympic Park, and then out and back, and then Emu Plains, and then Richmond to Schofield, and then Schofield all the way down to Leppington all start. Yeah.
Kevin makes Richmond.
What happened, Tom and I were on the same trains for a lot of the morning. Sam and Griffin tracked us on the same trains through all of the north and the metro back to Strathfield. There are other occasions that you'll see come up where different races cross paths and were on the same trains with others as well. So here we see the rejig plan for
was to go from Strathfield to Leppington and then to the T8. But instead, he'll run the Inner West.
Yes, this is where my plan messed up actually, where I missed a connection at Strathfield. Instead of heading off to Leppington, I ended up heading out to Cronulla and Waterfall, still on the same trains as Tom.
Martin and Greg made it back to Blacktown to catch Whiskey 535 to Emu Plains. This is the same train which Lorenzo boarded at Parramatta. Somehow, Lorenzo gets given an announcement that the train is terminating at Blacktown. He gets off, but the train does not terminate, and Martin and Greg are on their way to Emu Plains.
Here we go, Parramatta, quick 2-minute change up here, looking for a Y-linker, just around the Merrylands. Not even there yet, which is good. Yes, it is, here it comes. Got to do this one now, because later tonight I'm coming back from Macarthur. Won't have time to get all the way back to Merrylands, so I'm just going to do that one.
Kevin had successfully done all of the west by this time. He'd been to Richmond, he'd been to Emu Plains.
Okay, try the 2-minute change here at Merrylands. It's good, but he's not coming around the corner yet. So I can relax going downstairs.
Unfortunately for Kevin, there was more trouble coming up.
Here, just slowing to Clyde, just left Auburn. 4 families get on, each with 3 or 4 kids and prams. Just when the doors were shutting, Grandpa runs up the stairs and tries to open the doors to let another family on. I've only got 2 minutes to go. You know what's going to happen here? I'm going to miss the same train twice in the same day on 2 different planes. Now that's a record.
This is really unfortunate for Kevin. He's won this race before, but today...
Out of breath, running, all
There was no luck for him.
damn thing's gone. I've missed it twice in the one day here at Lidcombe. Don't know what I'm going to do now. I think the game's up.
So Kevin was out of the race at that point.
Second disaster for Kevin.
The rest of us still going. We'll catch up with where everyone's at the moment. Tom and I are on our way out to the T4. Sam and Griffin are on their way west. Martin and Greg have made their way back into Olympic Park, and then they will be going west as well. So this is a change at Emu Plains for Martin and Greg.
Coming back from Emu Plains, but it should have been 5.
What? Bloody wonders will never see.
The Carramar Caper is the feat of changing trains at Carramar,
Right.
from the down train to the up train across the platform, with both trains having the same timetable departure time, but the running times not being all that reliable.
This is Martin and Greg changing at Carramar.
7 hours into John's race, finally they were split up and be on separate trains.
Previous one
Tom still has to go to
wasn't them at
Parramatta,
Emu Plains.
but John will change at Central in order to head out on the T8. Tom's upcoming task is
So
across the platform change.
Tom and I finally split up after coming back from the Illawarra. Split up at Central. I went out onto the T8, whereas Tom went to Bondi Junction, which I of course had done right at the start of the day.
Thank you so much.
That quick change at Bondi Junction is always a bit of a lottery. So Tom, after completing that Bondi Junction, then began chasing me out on the T8. I was 2 trains, 30 minutes ahead of him on that. Lorenzo had been out west, and he was on his way back in, but he was running into a problem where the all-stopper that he was hoping to get from Parramatta, which would take in Harris Park and Granville and Clyde, wasn't running. He got to Parramatta and hoped to be able to sprint over to get it from platform 4, but it wasn't there.
Lorenzo ran in hope, but there was
which
no
meant
paint
some
patch.
replanning for him. And he actually had mission control. Scott was his friend of Lorenzo, was helping him with the replanning, and came up with a workaround.
And then heads north.
So Greg and Martin had done their Carramar Caper and then the Bankstown line, and then followed that up with the Inner West.
Martin and Greg will be on the same
When they
train as
changed at Flemington to go back to Strathfield, they found themselves on the same train as Lorenzo.
Lorenzo. Travelling together for some time in this race.
Tom and I had been out to Macarthur. I got to Macarthur first and then headed to Leppington. Tom was 30 minutes behind me in the same road, and Sam and Griffin were coming in the same direction as well at that time.
Now we see the divergence in the two plans. John used a Wideling train to get directly to Harris Park, and then uses an all-stopper to go to Homebush, and then double back to Lidcombe and take an Olympic Park.
This illustrates the different approaches that Tom and I had after the Macarthur and Leppington area.
Carramar to Sefton, and then after that make his western run.
So I made a successful change at Homebush to go back to Lidcombe and then pick up the Olympic Park. Tom went to Sefton and doubled back to Cabramatta from there.
The two different metro approaches have worked in favour for Martin and Greg. They get back to Epping first. And now
Martin and Greg had gone one direction on the metro, Lorenzo had gone in the other. Martin and Greg made it back to Epping in time for a train to Hornsby. Lorenzo just missed his, so he was 15 minutes later going from Epping to Hornsby. And that affected what time they got to Berowra, and that affected what time they got away from Berowra, as you'll see.
Lorenzo did not get back.
Changed at Cabramatta. Tom now headed back up to Parramatta in order to head and take in the west.
Sam and Griffin got to Central and their TA.
After Olympic Park, I had headed west as well. So again, Tom and I were headed in similar directions, but now we weren't on the same trains at all.
Granville, Tom is having a
So unfortunately for Tom, he missed the connection to Parramatta. This was the first actual missed connection for Tom of the day. I'd already missed a connection at Strathfield and then had to replan for the rest of the day after that. But this was the first upset for Tom. Martin and Greg got to Berowra, and then they proceeded to return to the city on the North Shore. So after Tom missed a connection at Parramatta, he rejigged his western plan. He went to Emu Plains and then back to Blacktown and then up to Richmond. Whereas I had gone to Richmond first and then headed back to Blacktown and then to Emu Plains. So Martin and Greg, having come off the North Shore, took in the city circle and got back to Central. Lorenzo did something similar, but Martin and Greg had the Illawarra to finish after that. They were already up to 161 stations. And Lorenzo was heading out to Bankstown next. Griffin and Sam did their own Caramar caper successfully.
Second misconnection of the day. I'm at Emu Plains, and the mountain strain that I got here from Blacktown was held up a little at Penrith, and the delay caused me to miss the suburban train from Emu Plains back to Lidcombe.
Greg and Martin reach Waterfall. They are leading the station count. They have only 9.
Martin and Greg to Waterfall. They only had to get to Cronulla and then up to Bondi Junction in order to finish. Although that does take a little bit of time. We're getting into the afternoon here. You see, it's after 6 o'clock now. Already been on the go for 13 hours, some of us. Up to nearly 14 hours for Martin and Greg, who were the first ones to start.
Here's another update as the day draws long. Sam and Griffin, when they finish the T3, will have the T4 remaining.
T4 takes at least 2.5 hours.
Lorenzo, when he finishes the T3, will complete the T2 to Leppington and all the T8 stations.
He's got to get to Leppington, then to Macarthur, so he's got more than 2
Martin
hours
and
to go.
Greg, as we have seen, have the Cronulla branch, some stations in the St George area, and the Eastern Suburbs line.
At this point, Martin and Greg had about an hour and a half to 2 hours to go.
Tom, on his return leg from Richmond, has to pick up Flemington and Homebush before he finishes on the T3.
Tom was still looking like the winner at this stage if he made successful
And John,
changes.
who is on his return leg from Emu Plains, has the T3 also to finish, but his task still includes Caramar.
And my time at this point depended on a successful Caramar challenge, Caramar caper. So after getting back to Lidcombe, I was headed out on a train to Birrong, change at Birrong to go to Caramar, Caramar back to Birrong, and then Birrong, all stations on the Bankstown line, the erstwhile Bankstown line, to Central, and that would be my finish. It's a long way back from Richmond, where Tom had been. That's why you hadn't seen an update for him for a while.
One of those watching the course of the race on the Facebook updates is Scott, who is also doing the background planning for Lorenzo. He provides us with
Scott was monitoring all of our progress and posting the updates. And here's my footage. I was approaching Caramar, and the connection that I needed was good. The train hadn't arrived yet, and here it is. So that was my last fear. Now I was pretty confident in what my finish time was going to be. And so it all just depended now on Tom. Remember, I'd started well before him, so if he finished within a certain time of me, yeah, he had to make a good change at Homebush. He had to change onto in the space of a minute. If he arrived at Homebush 2 minutes late, then he was in trouble. He was going to lose 15 minutes basically. And there it is, there's the one that he does catch from Homebush. It is 15 minutes later, and now, well, that pretty much decided the race, because it made him half an hour later on everything that he had to do after that, and that was the time that I needed. So there you just saw Sam and Griffin set a new record for most stations visited during the daylight hours between sunrise and sunset, 163. It's a record that can only really be attacked close to the summer solstice.
Martin and Greg are the first to rank up the 180 stations.
Martin and Greg, he got to Bondi Junction. That was their 180th station, and just cross the platform, comfortable 3-minute change. When they get back to Central, that's the finish time. Meanwhile, I was just giving us at 20, 41, 48.
Jazz and museum.
Thank you.
That's all you want, bloody right?
Yes, I'm glad you see it my way.
Lorenzo was the next one to make it back to Central. He started at the same time as I did. Then Tom finished, and yeah, I'd won by 25 minutes. Sam and Griffin finished their rookie run. And there it was. That was the 18th of December 2020 All Stations train race. As I said, it's one of the best ones that we've had, and we're going to new systems now. We won't be posting it on Facebook when we have our next races on the 19th of January and the 26th of January. So the details of TMAP and also some tutorials about use of TMAP for posting your race photos will be following up. For now, it's Merry Christmas and Happy New Year to everyone.